Mister, you just scared a year's growth out of me.
Shut up and get off of that horse.
Just what do you got in mind?
I want your horse.
Well, now, you ain't got the politest way in the world of asking for it.
Quit jawing and get off of that horse.
No, I don't believe I will, unless you think you're man enough to come down here and pull me off.
I don't have to come down there. I can shoot you out of that saddle from right here a dang sight easier.
You mean you'd actually shoot a man just for a horse?
I declare. Outside of me, you're about the talkingest person I ever seen. Now, I'm just going to give you a count of 3 to get off of that horse. 1, 2...
Go.
Back me down or I'll slit your throat.
Later, maybe. Right now, back into bed.
I'll tear you apart with my bare hands.
Look, you may be a wildcat when you're well, but right now, you ain't got enough strength to fight a sick rabbit. Maybe some of Hop Sing's stew will fix that up.
What's all these fancy diggings?
This is a Ponderosa ranch. It's where I live with my pa and 2 brothers.
How'd I get here?
Well, after you tried to shoot me off of my horse and steal him, you passed out from that leg wound. I brought you here. The doctor in Virginia City dug that out of your leg.
You gotta give me my clothes and get me on my horse. I gotta get out of here.
If you ain't the honorest creature I ever run into, would you liked it better if I'd have left you out there on the trail to have died?
I'd have left you.
You're a liar.
Nobody calls me that. If I was able to walk around, why, I'd...
But you can't walk, and you ain't gonna be able to for a couple of weeks. The doctor said very few men could have lived through what you went through. You're a tough one, all right.
I am, so don't you go calling me no liar.
I'll go get that stew. Maybe it'll help your disposition. By the way, what's your name?
Jim Smith.
All right. Jim, stew coming up. Oh, he's just as cantankerous as he was out on the trail. Hop Sing!
Yes, Mr. Hart?
Hop Sing, do me a favor, will you? Take a bowl of that good stew of yours up there to the sick man. He's powerful hungry.
All right, Mr. Hoss.
Yeah, Hop Sing. You might better make it a double portion.
Yes, sir. Just like you, Mr. Hoss.
Right.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with that big moose, Hoss?
Yeah, we kind of missed you today. Lifting all them fence rails sort of tired me out.
Well, he ain't gonna be here long, and that's for sure. He tried to talk me into tying him onto a horse so he could ride out of here.
Sure seems to be in a hurry to get away, doesn't he? First he tries to steal your horse, and I'd be careful of him if I were you.
I can handle him, Paul.
What happened to him? Who is he, anyway?
Well, all he told me was that his name was Jim Smith.
Smith? That's an unusual name.
Well, I would suggest you go around calling him a liar, little brother.
Well, if I do, I'll stand behind you.
Big, cantankerous, hard-headed bull. Get blame tired of packing you around.
Howdy, Cal. Van. You're my lawyer, Jed Nelson.
Certainly. Howdy. My son, Hoss.
How do you do, Mr. Cartwright?
Well, why don't we go in the house and have some coffee?
No, no thanks, Ben. We're out here on urgent business.
Oh, well, what can I do for you?
We understand you've got a wounded man in there. The doc told us.
Oh, yeah, he sure is wounded. Jim Smith.
Jim Smith? It's Jim Layton.
Well, he says his name is Jim Smith.
Well, I don't care what he says. It's Jim Layton.
Name's got quite a reputation behind it.
Well, you can add two more words to it. Thief and a murderer.
How do you figure that?
Because he stole $10,000 worth of my pelts and killed my partner to cover up for it.
They're pretty strong accusations, Mr. Stacy. Can you prove them?
As Mr. Stacy's lawyer, perhaps I can explain. Mr. Stacy's in a partnership with a fur trader out of St. Louis by the name of Amos Carter. He invested rather heavily with him in an expedition to gather beaver pelts from up north. And they hired this Jim Layton as a hunter and a scout.
So, yesterday, he dragged himself into Virginia City, claiming that they were attacked by Paiutes, that Carter had been killed.
When I found Jim yesterday, he had a bullet in his own leg.
I know. I helped the deputy put it there when he broke jail.
So if you'll just turn him over to us, we'll take him back to Virginia City and see if we can get to the bottom of what happened to Amos Carter.
No. First place, he's too badly wounded to move.
All right, we'll get the sheriff and make it official.
I don't see why you want to protect a thieving, murdering half-breed.
That's enough, Mr. Stacy. We'll do this through legal channels. Good day.
Paul, you think I did the right thing?
Yeah, you did the right thing. Man is too badly wounded to be moved.
Yeah, old Jim's a legend in his own time, ain't he?
Yeah, well, trouble with being a legend is that a man is liable to outdo himself trying to live up to it. Let's get to work.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna go up and talk to Jim. I'll be back in a minute. I want to ask you something. Did you break out of jail in Virginia City?
There ain't a jail in the world can hold Jim Layton when he sets his mind to get out of it.
Last night, you told me your name was Jim Smith.
Last night I wanted to get out of here and you wouldn't let me.
You ever lie to me again, I'll beat you to a pulp the first time you're able to stand up.
Why don't you just go stick your head in a rain barrel if you can find one small enough to fit it? Anyhow, what do you care what happens to a half-breed?
Jim, when that doctor and I took the slug out of your leg, your blood looked the same as everybody else's to me.
Howdy, Hoss. Glad to see you. Want some coffee?
No, thanks.
I was just getting ready to come out to your ranch.
Yeah, I know. That's why I came in here.
About Jim Layton, huh?
Yeah. Clem, how come you threw Jim in jail? Just because Cal Stacy asked you to?
Hoss, if I hadn't known you for so long, I might take offense to that remark.
Sorry.
I put him in jail for his own protection. Stacy was kind of riled up. I don't trust any man, especially when there's 10,000 at stake.
Clem, let me ask you something. Do you think that Jim Layton stole those pelts?
Well, I don't know, Hoss. I got my men scouting the country looking for Amos Carter, and I'm reserving judgment until we find him or not, or find some evidence of what happened to him. But until then, I want Jim Layton to stick around, even if I have to put double bars on his cell door this time.
Sheriff, Cal here said he saw Mr. Cartwright coming into town, so we thought we'd drop over. Have you decided to give him up, Mr. Cartwright?
Nope. I just came in to tell Clem that I thought Jim was too sick to move. Besides, Jim Layton tells me he didn't kill Amos Carter.
Just his saying so doesn't make it absolutely true, Mr. Cartwright.
Nope. And just because you say he did doesn't make that absolutely true either, Mr. Nelson.
Everybody knows what he's like. His mother's a Crow Indian. Well, he even brags about spilling some white men's blood. He's got jail records all over the country.
Still doesn't mean that he killed Amos Carter.
Well, I think he did. And I think he's got $10,000 worth of pelts cached away somewhere.
He denied that, Cal.
Sure he did. Jim Layton would deny 100 things for $1, let alone $10,000 worth of pelts.
Well, until I get some evidence either on Carter or the furs, it's your word against his. Huh?
You mean you're gonna let him stay out there at the Ponderosa?
Haas says he's too sick to be moved.
I do think he'd be safer in jail, Sheriff.
Well, I think he'd be safer on the ranch. You got my word for it, he ain't gonna get away.
Well, what makes you think that your word is good enough, Cartwright?
It's good enough for me. I'm putting Jim Layton in Haas's custody until we find out about Amos Carter, one way or another. Good day, gentlemen.
Thanks, Clem. You don't have to worry about me letting him get away either.
Well, I'm not worried about you, Haas. I just hope you're right about Jim Layton.
Thanks again, Clem. So, when I was in town today, the doctor gave me this medicine for you, and you're gonna take it.
I don't want your medicine, and I don't want none of your dang protection. Anyhow, what give you the right to tell the sheriff that you'd be responsible for me?
Jim, let me ask you something. How would you like it? Do you want to sit in a jail cell until they find Amos Carter?
I don't have to sit in no jail cell. I don't have to stay here. Once I get to the mountains, why, there ain't nobody can find me.
Now, you listen to me. If you leave here before this thing's settled, you'll be running like an animal the rest of your life.
Well, there's a lot of people think of me as an animal anyhow, so what difference does it make?
Oh, shut up and take this medicine.
I told you I don't want to take none of that medicine.
Look, Jim, when I told the doctor how you've been getting up out of bed and falling down, now he's afraid you're going to bust that wound open and get gangrene, and if you do, it'll kill you. Now, you're going to take this medicine whether you like it or not.
Why don't you take it yourself?
All right. You want it the hard way, you'll get it the hard way, big boy. Why, you son of a gun.
Get away from me, you big ox! Get out of here!
You're going to take this medicine. I have to stick it in your head.
I don't want this medicine.
I was just trying to get him to take his medicine, Paul.
You better tell this big ox to leave me alone or I'm gonna pound him on top of the head till he ain't 2 feet tall in his high-heel boots.
Well, it's a good thing I built this house out of strong timber. Now, do you think you two could take it easy before you go through the floor into Hop Sing soup?
You fellas sure live high on the hog around here. I don't know when I've ever had grub taste as good as that did tonight.
Yeah, well, Hop Sing, you sure outdid yourself tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Ben.
Too bad Adam and Little Joe weren't here. Although, after watching you two eat, I guess there wouldn't have been anything left for them anyway.
I'll tell you something, Paul. It's a real pleasure to have somebody in the house that makes me feel dainty.
Sometimes it ain't no pleasure being a big man, is it, Hoss? You know, I've been a battling men all my life just 'cause they wanted to knock me down a little bit.
You sure picked a rough life for yourself. Jim, what made you decide to become a mountain man?
Well, it wasn't exactly my own choosing. After they tarred and feathered me and run me out of town, why, I figured that, well, maybe living in town wasn't for people like me.
It tarred and feathered you.
Yeah, you know how it is when you're a kid. They teach you that you do good while you get your just reward. Well, I did good. I did real good. I went and crippled a feller for beating a horse, and, well, they tarred and feathered me and run me out of town. Guess that's when I learned that rewards for white people and half-breeds was two different things.
Civilized white man.
You know, the red man can be just as bad. I learned that when I went to live with my mother's folks, the Crows. After the Paiutes killed her in a raid, why, I found out that, well, I'd run out of places to go, so I just pulled up stakes and went to the mountains. You know, living alone in the mountains ain't a bad life.
Well, no man can live alone, Jim. Standing up against the world.
Well, I can.
Well, you don't have to. Because we ain't the world, Jim. We're your friends.
Now, don't you speak too fast, big feller. That cow says that I kill white men. Well, I have. When I lived with the Crows, I killed more than my share of them fighting their battles. I come close to being lynched more than once. I've been in jail in 3 different states and 2 territories. As near as I can remember, I've killed at least 3 men in showdown fights. You know, being friends to a man like me ain't no easy proposition. I don't need your help. Like I told you, I can take care of myself.
And that'll hold us till about noon anyway, Adam. Better start riding that fence. We'll see you, Pa.
How about you? You riding with us?
I got that wagon wheel fixed over there on that freighter, Adam.
Well, I have a lot of paperwork to do. Jim, you got something to keep you busy?
Oh, I'll stick around with old Hoss here. Give him a little advice if he needs it.
Well, he can sure use it. Change of scenery do you good, too.
I'll tell you what, little brother. Let's check out these crutches I made for you.
Sure hope you built them strong enough to hold me up.
Well, they was before you had breakfast.
How much would a rig like this cost a man?
Oh, about $200 in Virginia City.
With or without horses?
Well, a strong team of horses cost a man another $400, imagine.
You mean tell me that it'd cost me, $700 to drive out of Virginia City in an outfit like this?
Yeah, maybe even more. The way prices are going up.
Whew. You know, if you'd told me that you could shrink iron, I'd have had to call you a liar.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't, little man, because if you had, you know what I'd have had to done? I'd have had to stuck your tongue right down on that hot iron.
Just as soon as I get off these sticks, I reckon I'm gonna have to show you who's the king of the mountain around here.
Well, I'm gonna be waiting, little fella. Don't you worry about that.
$700. Man, it's an awful lot of money for a fella to lay his hands on, especially if he has to do it honest.
Yep, but it could cost you a whole lot more if you try to do it otherwise. Hey, that's mighty close, friend.
What did I tell you about being friends with me?
You stuck that thing in there 1.5 inches.
Yep, I'm a little rusty.
Well, I think I'd rather take my chances at 6-shooter. After that puny breakfast we had this morning, I gathered some walnuts, you know, son. Oops. Hey. See you hit that. Hey. Wow. Wouldn't be much good for skinning, would it?
I don't use it for skinning. Got another knife for that. You know, prime beaver takes special handling. Kind of like you and this here wagon wheel.
You figuring on going after more beaver when your leg gets well, Jim?
Yep, if I can find me a big enough wagon and a stout enough team to pull it.
You gotta have a wagon and a team to trap beaver?
No, but I'm sure gonna need a rig if I catch up with them engines that went and stole that load from me and Mr. Carter.
Yeah. You just remember one thing. I promised that sheriff that you'd stay here till he let you go.
That's what you told me, little man.
What do you want, Cal?
Just came out to make sure he's still around.
Easy, Jim. Easy. Easy.
I'll carve a smile across his throat from ear to ear. He's the one that went and shot me in the leg.
You're lucky it was only your leg. Because that way, you'll be able to still tell us where you hid them pelts.
Why don't you ask him Paiutes?
Look, Cal, now you've seen what you came to see. Why don't you just clear out?
What are you so touchy about, Cartwright? You make a deal with him to split those pelts when he goes after them?
You're asking to get hurt, Cal.
If I wasn't a hobbling around on these, why, I'd paint your head off.
If I had it to do over again, I'd shoot both your legs.
Jim!
Why'd you do that, you big ox?
Because you'd have killed him, that's why.
Sure, I'd have killed him. I'm a finisher. Any man that fights Jim Layton knows that.
Well, you better be glad you didn't finish off Cal Stacy.
I told you once before that I can fight my own battles. Now help me up here.
Well, I can see right now, Jim, that one of these days I'm just gonna have to plain beat that honorings out of you.
Yeah, and when you try it, remember what I said about being a finisher.
I get it, Mr. Cartwright. Good morning, Sheriff.
Morning, Clem. Good to see you. Hopsing was just getting me some coffee. You join me?
Yes, guess I will.
I get it.
Come on, sit down.
Thanks.
To what do we owe the pleasure of this visit?
You, still got that Jim Layton here?
Oh, yeah, just like Hoss promised. He's here. Hobbling around with those crutches, he couldn't get very far anyway. What's on your mind?
I got bad news for him. We found Amos Carter in the middle of nowhere and shot in the back.
Well, you figure Jim shot him?
I don't know, Ben. But it gives Cal Stacy just what he needs to get a warrant out for Layton's arrest. Matter of fact, both of them over at Judge Flanagan's office right now.
Clem? How come you didn't wait for that warrant before you came out here?
I thought maybe if he came in voluntarily, it might go better for him.
It's real thoughtful of you. Boys went out working the range this morning. Jim went out in the wagon with them. Guess he got tired of looking at these four walls all the time. I'll ride out and tell him you want to see him.
All right. I hope you can get him to come in.
Yeah. So do I. Strange man.
Yeah. Ben, if he doesn't come in, you know I'll have to come out after him.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, Clem. Thank you.
I come back after it.
Mr. Cartwright looking for you and Mr. Hoss. He goes south for range. You see him?
No. That's where Adam and Little Joe's working. What do you want?
Sheriff, he come. He say if they find Mr. Carter's body, want you go to town.
Mr. Carter's dead, huh? You sure?
Very sure. Shot in back.
Is that right? When you fix that grub, why, maybe you better make enough for 5. We run into some other fellas out there this morning.
All right, fix 5 more.
Good. Don't take too long, huh?
You told Jim the sheriff was looking for him, didn't you?
Yes, sir. And that you go look for him in South Pasture. Hopsing do right?
Yeah, you did right.
Thank you, Mr. Ben.
Thank you, Hopsing. Thank you.
Well, looks like he skedaddled on it.
Yep, sure does. Maybe he had reason to.
Paul, do you think he really killed Amos Carter?
I don't know, Hoss. Killed a couple of other fellas by his own admission.
Oh, but Pa, in a fair fight.
Yeah, in a fair fight. Now, he knew that you'd given your word to keep him here. And still he skedaddled. Hmm?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go after him, too.
If he went up to those mountains of his, you're not gonna find him.
He didn't go up the mountain.
Now, how can you be so sure of that?
Because he told me if he could ever lay hands on a wagon team, he's going after those Indians and those pelts, and that's where he is.
Hoss, how can you be so sure that he didn't kill Carter?
Well, first of all, Paul, he couldn't kill a man to steal. And secondly, Jim would never shoot a man in the back.
Hoss, I know how you feel about him. But he's a dangerous man.
Yep. But I gave my word, Paul, that he wouldn't get away. And I'm gonna go get him. He ain't big enough to stop me. You get Hop Sing to get me some grub together. I'm gonna go out and get a fresh pony. Jim?
Howdy, big feller.
You got enough grub there for an extra?
Yeah, you never can tell when friends is gonna drop in. Pull up a chair. Y'all got here a couple hours earlier, and you could have helped me load my pelts.
Well, sir, if you'd invited me back at the Ponderosa, I'd have been happy to.
Help yourself.
Looks like good stew.
Want some coffee?
No, thank you.
All right, out with it. What are you doing out here?
Jim, how many times have you told me that the Indians stole these pelts?
Well, they'd have done it, too, if I hadn't hit them first.
What are you figuring on doing with them?
I'm going to take them to Kansas City and sell them.
Jim, I got no mind to use this, but I will if I have to. I had to get the drop on you because you're so blamed fast with that frog sticker.
I told you once before, Hoss, don't you never start nothing with me unless you're a finisher.
Well, why don't you try me out and find out whether or not I am?
My bare hands against that gun?
Against my bare hands.
Now I know why you come up here all alone. You want to find out who's the king of the mountain.
It's these pelts, Jim. They come first.
You mean you want them for yourself?
If I can whoop you, we'll take them back to the ranch and let my pa judge what to do with them.
There ain't no way you can whoop me.
All right. If you whip me, then you get on this wagon and you head east. And I'll claim I never caught up with you. Bargain?
There ain't nothing that'll stop me short of murder. Now, hold on. Don't get in no rush. I don't hold with fighting on a full stomach.
All right. First thing in the morning? Be a little dandy.
Yeah.
wasted. You look like you've been in a fight anyhow.
You ought to see yourself, big feller.
When you gonna head east, Jim?
I ain't a-heading east.
You ain't? You're in the right.
I wish I could, but I finally found a man that I couldn't whoop.
You couldn't whoop?
I just happened to come to before you did. Hoss, I ain't never gonna lie to you again.
Jim, did you kill Amos Carter?
No, I never. But Cal Stacy and that lawyer, he was sure gonna try to make it stick that I did.
Don't you worry. You'll get a fair trial, and you taking those pelts back in on your own, that's gonna help.
I don't believe that, Hoss, but you're the king of the mountain.
Let's go.
Well, that does it. Let's go.
Jim, I've been doing a little thinking.
You sure do things the hard way.
Yeah. Now, Amos Carter was killed. Shot in the back, mind you. Now, you didn't kill him. And you say you chased the Indians off an hour or so after he left.
What are you driving at, anyhow?
Just this. If you didn't kill him, and the Indians didn't kill him, then who did kill him?
Well, maybe somebody that stood to make some money out of him being dead.
That's exactly right. Like Cal Stacy.
Hey, you've got muscles in your head.
It don't take muscles to figure that Cal Stacy would be the only man to benefit from his death and yours, and that's how come he's been accusing you so.
Hey, maybe we better have a little talk with that gentleman, huh?
Gave you a census card right. Brought him back. Must have been quite a battle, didn't it?
No battle. Matter of fact, when we learned who killed Amos Carter, why, old Jim came in as peaceful as a dove.
Well, we know who killed Carter. Get over to the sheriff and tell him that Layton is here.
Why, Cal, now you know dadgum good and well the sheriff's out there scouring the whole countryside for us now. But he's looking the wrong place, ain't he? I'll tell you what, Mr. Nelson, you go on over there and you wait for the sheriff. And when you see him, you tell him that me and Jim's got Mr. Carter's killer all plucked, dressed, and cleaned.
You heard him.
Get. Oh, no, you won't. Matter of fact, that's why Jim and me came into town. We want to talk to you, Cal. Kind of private-like. Why don't we move over here to this other table?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Just what do you think you're doing?
I'll tell you, Cal. Me and old Jim ain't much on talking. Especially when there's something we want to hear, right, Jim? Now, why don't you just tell us how you killed Amos Carter?
You two must have beat each other senseless. I don't know what you're talking about. Just put me on.
Put it down.
Look, I'm a free citizen. I can do as I please.
You're a murderer.
You know, Jim, I saw a funny thing one time. I saw a couple of cowboys get into a scrape, and you know what they done? One of them took his booty, just like this, and he came down just like this on that feller's instep. Boom! He crippled that poor feller so he hobbled around the rest of his natural life.
You won't need this no more. You know, Hoss, it's real interesting what a feller can learn just from watching other people. Like you watching that cowboy with the busted foot. I lived with the Crows for quite a while, and they taught me all about scouting. I ain't never had a chance to use that lesson yet.
Tell you what, Jim. Wouldn't be fair for me and you to tear up old Bill's saloon here with Cal, so I'll cut cards with you to see who takes him outside.
Nah, you take him, Hoss. I got a terrible temper, and, well, just be our luck winding up with nobody to try for Mr. Carter's murder.
But, Jim, Cal here accused you. I think it'd be fair if you took him.
No, all right, go on, cut him.
Rascal, you beat me fair and square. Well, you go ahead and take him, Jim, and I'll just hang around here and wait for you.
This ain't gonna take too long. Come on, Pard.
Wait a minute, what are you gonna do?
Now, Cal, if you don't know that by now, me and old Jim sure have wasted a lot of talent. Sure enough. Ain't you got something you'd like to tell us?
It was self-defense. We quarreled over the pelts, and I shot him, but it was self-defense.
He was shot in the back.
Your lawyer sure is gonna have a dandy time. Well, Jamie's yours. Why don't you take him?
I ain't much good at words right now, and, well, there ain't a whole lot of people that I'd say this to, but, you know, Hoss, you're a real man. Almost my equal.
Almost your equal? Why, you big overgrown
All right,
little
you
gut.
look, haven't you two had enough of this?
Just 'cause this outside son of yours thinks he whooped me in a little old fight.
Little old fight. I'll be nursing these bruises for 6 months from that little old fight.
Well, when you get your health back, why don't you come on up to my mountains? You know, this here low altitude sure has been bad for my wind.
Jim, you have yourself a good trip back, and stay out of the way of them Paiutes here.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Cartwright. Oh, say goodbye to Adam and little Joe for me, will you?
I sure will.
By the way, when the sheriff gives you my money, why, just take out the price of my horse and outfit.
Oh, never mind about that. I'm going to charge that to his account.
Jim, so long.
You know, Hoss, even from up here, you're a big man.
Are you no good for nothing? I've been wanting to do that myself. Look at it, Adam. Feast thine eyes on a sight that approacheth heaven itself.
You've been to a lot of places and you've seen a lot of things, Pa. But you never seen or been to heaven.
Well, maybe I've never been to heaven. Maybe I'm never going to get the chance. But heaven is going to have to go some to beat the 1,000 square miles of the Ponderosa.
As long as it's ours. As long as we keep it in Cartwright hands.
Know anyone who could take it away from us, son?
I know those who would try. The Virginia City bunch, if we gave them half a chance. Now, where's little Joe? He's supposed to have met us here. I want a report of those cattle he was supposed to bring down from the north end.
Oh, you'll get it, son. You might have to wait until he's ready to give it to you.
I want that report now.
Well, maybe the best thing for you to do is go find him.
I intend to do just that, Pop. Horse will know where he is.
Adam. Remember, he's your brother.
Well, brother or not, I expect him to do his share, same as the rest of us.
He's a boy, son. Not a man like you. Only thing wrong with him, he's young.
Well, young or not, still a Cartwright.
Whoa. Abner, you stand real still now, you hear? You listen to horse. Fidgeting and fussing around here like that. He'll throw you plumb into the next county. You think I can't do it, mister? You just keep on that juggling. Be flying through the air like you was more prairie hen than you're a horse.
He giving you any trouble, horse?
Oh, Pa. You know there ain't no four-legged animal can give me any trouble.
Oh, I know that, son. No, any two-legged one either, for that matter.
Well, I don't know. I remember one little two-legged animal. Didn't weigh an ounce over 100 pounds. Red hair and all. She didn't give me nothing but trouble.
Well, I wasn't thinking of any girl, son. I was thinking of your younger brother.
Little Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Adam's up the house talking to him now.
You got nothing better to do than play with that.
Never know when I might want to use it.
What chance you gonna have to use an epee out here in the West?
What I always say is, older brother, if a man ever gets that chance, he best be ready for it.
Stand still when I'm talking to you. You're a Cartwright. Do you know what that means?
No, older brother, I'm waiting for you to tell me.
All right, I'll tell you. It means you're supposed to be a man now, fit to do a man's work. It means you got part of the responsibility of running this ranch, same as Pa and Horse and me.
I didn't think I could handle it same as you. I'd quit.
And how do you expect to do it with that New Orleans monkey pick you got handed down to you by your French quarter mother?
If you weren't my brother, Adam, I'd kill you for that.
Well, any time you're ready, little Joe, you can just forget all about us being kin.
Well, you know, that'll be easy. Because I've never been able to see myself being kin to anything whelped out of a thin-nosed, blue-blooded Boston Yankee. You want to fight me, Adam? You make a fist!
Fire and brimstone! Stop that fighting! Horse, make him stop. Put an end to this shame, this disgrace.
Oh, they don't hear you. They don't mean no disrespect. It's just they working off a little extra steam, that's all. Don't you worry none, I'll stop them. All right, you boys had enough fun for one day. Let's call it quits. In case you didn't hear me, I said this play-acting business is over, and I mean right now.
Now you stay out of this. Horse is between me and older brother here.
Now, little Joe, you better quit before I get mad.
Yeah, he'll quit all right, Hoss. He hasn't the guts to take any man-sized punishment.
Sons, don't we have enough to fight? Must we fight amongst ourselves?
Why don't you tell that to him, Paul? You can get anything through that rock-bound New England head of his.
Son, are you all right? You're not hurt, lad?
I guess the only way to hurt me, Pa, is to kill me.
I'm sorry, Adam. I'm sorry I raised my hand to you.
Oh, go on, son. It's your brother asking you forgiveness.
All I ask is for him to do his share. We're running the Ponderosa not Playing with an epee. And that means bringing 1,000 head of cattle down from pastures to the bottomland.
Those cattle, every last head of them, have been grazing in bottomland since this morning.
Don't you josh with me, little Joe.
Oh, boy, that'd be the day anybody tried to josh with you, you Yankee granite head.
Joe, you're telling the truth about those 1,000 head of cattle?
Pa, you know he's telling the truth. He ain't no liar, Pa.
That the truth, little Joe?
That's the truth.
How many head you lose on the way down?
Nary one.
Nary. Did you hear that, Adam? 1,000 head of prime stock down from the high pasture, and he loses nary a one.
Well, Joe, that's wonderful.
I only did what any poor boy out of New Orleans would have done without even thinking about it.
Well, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Upsing! Where the devil you hiding, you celestial skygazer? You got 4 hungry men who want to know what's for dinner.
Yell, yell. Why you all the time have to yell?
Why do I have to yell?
I go away now.
Hop Sing, wait a minute. Hop Sing. Wait a minute, Hop Sing. You can't do that. Why, if you left here, I'd waste away to a shadow. You know that.
You tell the old man he speaks soft, not yell. Then maybe Hop Sing stay.
Paul, I'm powerful hungry. I ain't had but a couple of 3 breakfasts since morning. Besides, Paul, you know as well as I do, old Hop Sing's the best dang cook this side of San Francisco. Why don't you go ahead and apologize to him?
Go on, Pa. Horse is right.
He's right, Pa. We never knew what cooking was like till Hop Sing come here.
Paul, I sure am hungry, Paul. And I can smell dinner.
Upsing, very sorry. Very, very sorry.
Get a very good dinner. Roast pig.
Roast pig? Did you say roast pig, Hop Sing?
Roast pig. Very good.
Paul, in all your born days, did you ever taste anything that could match old Hop Sing's roast pig?
Hoss, you going to be able to last till dinner?
Well, it ain't going to be easy, Paul. If I don't get something to eat pretty soon, I'm liable to just lay down right here and die.
Well, before anyone lays down and dies, let's remember there's still some work to do down at the corral. Just so happens this ranch don't run by itself.
Ha!
You don't think very highly of our plan, do you, Hooper? Look, Troy, this isn't my idea, scheming with an actress. You know what I'd like to do. Everything all right, Miss Brown? Take the Ponderosa by storm. You know what that would cost us? Oh, hang the expense. All I want is to get rid of that Cartwright bunch once and for all. Well, I wasn't speaking of the cost in money, Hooper. I was speaking of the cost in human lives.
Yes. What are you planning on using, Hooper? The United States Cavalry? The last time we planned an expedition to take the Ponderosa, it cost us over 12 lives.
And Cartwright can assemble 200 of their mounted men within an hour if they have to. Up there in that empire they control, their position's impregnable. As Garvey says, we couldn't get at them with anything less than the U.S. cavalry. All I know is that the Yellow Jacket needs 1 million board feet of timber a year to keep going. Well, a Gould and Curry, my dear Hooper, requires 3 million feet a year. I've a 12-foot wide vein of pure silver I can't even explore for lack of shoring timber. I don't think I have to be reminded of the seriousness of our problem.
Well, I can tell you this. Unless I get timber, I'm out of the mining business. If old Ben would only agree to sell us what we need, I'd be willing to pay any price he'd ask.
Well, to old Ben Cartwright, a tree is something sacred. Yeah. Something money can't buy. That's ridiculous. Money can buy anything. Can it, Aaron? You nor any of us couldn't make the Cartwright sell us one more sapling than they wanted to.
Troy, do you think this girl can really do it?
Well, this girl, as you put it, Miss Lotta Crabtree, is one of the most renowned actresses and beauties of our time. Conceivably, she might succeed, where the United States Cavalry might fail.
Yes, but just by bringing one of his boys to town?
By putting into our hands the one thing that would make Ben Cartwright sell us his trees. A son.
Stay with him, Adam! Tom, stay with him, Adam! That's a boy!
his mouth, Adam.
Is that as spooky as a fellow about to get himself married?
You all right, Thunder? You all right, boy?
You right, Adam?
I'm all right. Let me go. I guess I had that one coming.
That's too good a piece of horseflesh to ruin by bringing along too fast.
What's that carriage doing on the Ponderosa?
Those fools, they should have known better. Do you know where you are?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Cartwright.
Put those hands up. If you put them down before you're told, you're dead, mister.
If you know who I am, then you know you're on the Ponderosa.
I'm sorry about that, but then I guess I must have got lost tracking over them hills.
Don't you kowtow to him, driver, unless you want to answer to me. Idea. The very idea of shooting at innocent, unarmed people, and in broad daylight. Why, if I'd realized that this is the way they treat people in Virginia City, I never would have come here.
Well, this is not Virginia City, ma'am. You're on the Ponderosa.
The Ponderosa? What's that?
The Ponderosa, ma'am. That's the home place of the Cartwrights. They got just about the biggest spread in the country. This here is Ben Cartwright, and these is his sons.
And we don't cotton to strangers, male or female. What's your business here?
My business? Am I still in United States territory?
Well, that you are, ma'am, but I wouldn't go trading on it too much if I was you.
Well, you're not me. And I wish you'd put that awful thing down.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's the matter with you? Haven't you ever seen a lady before?
No, ma'am. I mean, not such a pretty one. Not in a long time.
You're still pointing that gun at me, you know.
I might still intend to use it.
Put it away, son. Maybe they really did lose their way.
Well, as long as they get off the Ponderosa.
It appears we're going to need some help if you expect us to honor that request.
I'll be happy to oblige, ma'am.
It's a relief to know that even here a lady can expect help from a gentleman.
Little Joe, I think maybe the lady would like a nice cool drink after traveling around in the dust and heat.
The lady happens to have a name, gentlemen. Miss Lotta Crabtree.
You mean the famous actress?
I mean the very same.
Be knee-high to a prairie dog. Lotta Crabtree.
Miss Lotta Crabtree.
Hey, yes, yes, ma'am.
Little Joe, take Miss Crabtree up to the house. Let her rest herself while we put this fool carriage of hers together again.
You expect me to ride this horse?
I'll see that that man will walk a mile of the house. My pleasure, ma'am. Well, you know, I didn't need any help, older brother.
I wasn't helping you, younger brother.
Adam, you reckon you're going to get this thing fixed today?
You'd like to try?
If I did, who'd hold this wagon up?
Try that wheel again. See if it'll turn.
Bring her in.
Yes,
All right, now. Get her out of here. Or we'll lose our patience and string it to the nearest tree.
Yes, sir. But what about the lady, Miss Crabtree?
How long does it take to get a gal a cool drink of water?
Yeah, talking about something to drink. If I don't get something to eat pretty soon, I'm liable to get plumb dangerous.
What in fun are you trying to say?
Low speak, all dry up. Why you not come eat?
Because we had something better to do.
You don't mean it's ruined, Hopsy.
All dry up. Follow away.
Throw away?
Hopsing invite lady eat a low speak. She say, thank you very much. But she have to go Virginia City.
Virginia City.
Crazy little Joe. He didn't agree to take her.
Take Bess buggy too. She very pretty lady. Very pretty.
Not alone.
Mister, you've got just 1 minute to tell us all you know about it.
I swear I don't know nothing, Mr. Cartwright.
That minute's running out fast.
Who sent you up to the Ponderosa?
Nobody. I mean, I was just hired to drive the lady up around these hills.
Was it Alpheus Troy? Was it Alpheus Troy hired you? Talk, man, while there's still a tongue in your head.
I couldn't help myself, Mr. Cartwright. I couldn't say no to Troy. I just couldn't help myself.
How much did he pay you?
You went into that town alone.
Anyone care to ride into Virginia City with me?
Us. Not into Virginia City, not yet. It's exactly what they want. Just the 4 Cartwrights. Well, we'll ride in. But we'll have 100 men riding in after us in the morning if we haven't returned. We'll alert the men from the North Valley. Adam, you ride out to the settlers on the Tahoe Rim. I'll take care of the men at the sawmill. As soon as we're through, we'll ride into Virginia City. I'll be waiting for you in the Sazerac. If we don't get back by morning, kill him.
Oh! I think we better let him rest, ma'am. We don't want to get him all tuckered out.
I see. It's very considerate of you to drive me, Mr. Cartwright.
Well, most people hereabouts just call me Little Joe.
Little Joe? Well, you're not that small.
Oh, it's not that, ma'am. It's my brother Horse is that big.
Yes, he is. But what kind of a name is that for a man? Horse.
Oh, he had some other name when he was born, but then when he weighed in at 50 pounds, when he was just a couple of months old, well, people just forgot the other name and started calling him Horse.
50 pounds at a couple of months. Now, that's impossible.
Impossible, ma'am? I don't think you'd say that if you could have seen Horse's mother.
Isn't she your mother, too?
Who, that big gal? Oh, no. Well, Pa said she stood 6 feet tall on her stocking feet and could punch like a mule. That's how Pa met her. She threw him 2 out of 3 times in a wrestling match.
Oh, she didn't.
No. No, she's a real beautiful woman. Came from Sweden. Pa said she was like a clean, fresh sunrise.
I'm sure she was. Your father was married twice?
Oh, more than that.
More than that?
Yeah, older brother Adam. He's from Pa's first wife. She was the daughter of a New England sea captain. Imagine my Pa being married to a Yankee.
What's so wrong about a Yankee?
Ma'am, if you don't already know, guess ain't no use my telling you.
Mr. Cartwright, when will we ever get to Virginia City?
Almost before you know it, ma'am. Ha! Come on!
Gentlemen, Spider has just snagged the fly.
Troy, do you think Miss Crabtree would appreciate being called a spider?
As long as she collects her fee of $10,000 for this special performance, I don't think she cares what she's called.
Boogie's yours, ma'am, for as long as you stay in Virginia City.
Oh, that's most gallant of you, little Joe.
Hope you didn't mind the ride too much, ma'am.
I loved it. Fastest 20 miles I've ever experienced. You will stay for my performance, won't you?
I don't know what could keep me away.
Well, I'll look for you from the stage.
After the show, do we have dinner together?
After the show, you ask me then.
Now you know what you're going to do.
Right.
Oh, Miss Crabtree, this is indeed a pleasure.
You sent for me, Mr. Troy?
I'd have come to you, but I was afraid I couldn't crowd my colleagues in that cramped little dressing room. Miss Crabtree, I want you to meet Aaron Cooper of the Yellow Jacket.
How do you do?
Mr. George Garvey of the Diablo.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Your fame is worldwide.
Won't you sit down, please?
Oh, well, thank you. Might I add, so is yours. Oh, by the way, congratulations.
Congratulations? For what? My performance isn't until later.
Well, let's say for bringing that young man into Virginia City.
Oh, is that so difficult? Did you have any doubts?
It isn't easy to get a Cartwright to do anything.
It was just one young man. Didn't you think I was woman enough to persuade one young man to do my bidding?
Oh, enough to do all that, I'm sure. And more. But you see, Miss Crabtree, our task isn't quite finished.
What is there left to do, Mr. Troy?
We want you to persuade that young man to accompany you to your hotel rooms. After this evening's performance, of course.
Of course. Well, how interesting and how unusual. What do I do then? Make love to him?
No, just keep him there. Talk to him. Do anything but keep him there.
He's such a boy. What should we talk about?
Talk about his blasted trees. They've got more than 1 million of them up there on the Ponderosa, and we want them.
Trees? You want trees? I thought you were all Silver Kings.
Trees spell timber. And we need timber, Miss Crabtree, desperately, to keep our minds going. You see, the deeper the veins go into the earth, the richer, the purer the silver. But without timber, millions of feet of it, to support our tunnels and our shafts, there's a limit to how deep we can go.
Then it appears I've earned my rather exorbitant fee.
Get that boy up into your room tonight, and you've earned another 10,000.
What do you intend to do with him?
Hold him as a hostage until Ben Cartwright gives us the right to cut down his trees.
And what if Ben Cartwright refuses?
The way Ben loves those sons of his, I don't think he'll refuse.
I'll expect another 10,000, Mr. Troy. If you promise not to harm that boy.
It's a friend, Hopling. Put down the war club.
Also much happy to see friend.
Always happy to see you too, Hopling.
How's honorable son, Hop Sing? He cook very good?
Oh, very good. Horse loves him like a brother.
Ah, so very good son. You come from Virginia City all alone? You take terrible risk.
Well, if honorable father just take my horse to the stable, I want to take care of a few little things uptown. You mind, Hopling? For a very beautiful lady.
I have come for to court you, your affections for to gain. And if you'll give me good attention, once more again. No, sir, no. All other answers to him were no. Madam, I have gold and silver. Madam, I have a house and land. Madam, I have a world of pleasure. You can have it all at your command. No, sir, no. All other answers to him were no. What care I for your gold and silver? What care I for your house and land? What care I for your world of pleasure? All I want is a handsome man. No, sir, no. All other answers to him were no. Madam, you seem to boast on beauty. Beauty surely will vanish away. Pick a pretty red rose in the morning, and by noon it will fade away. All other answers to him were no.
Young Cartwright sure didn't waste any time snapping up her invitation.
In his place, I would have done the same thing.
Well, if you had, it'd have been your last supper, too. Aaron, have you assigned proper men to the task?
McCutcheon and Farrell, Yellow Jacket boys.
Excellent. Good. Gentlemen and ladies, I invite you to partake of the pleasures of my Club Sazerac special.
It's open. Come in. Your rose is most beautiful, Mr. Cartwright.
Hardly anything, ma'am. Compared to all these. I don't think any of them could have been given with more admiration or affection.
That's rather bold, sir. I might almost say wicked.
Speaking of wicked, that was a fairly wicked dance you did out there on the stage.
You didn't like it?
Who, me? Ma'am, I loved every bit of it. As a matter of fact,
Tell me, Mr. Cartwright, your mother was the third wife?
And the last.
What was her name?
Felicia, why do you ask?
I don't know, but you must be very much like her. Where did she meet your father?
Pa took a business trip down to New Orleans. Guess he made out better than he ever figured he would.
New Orleans. I might have known.
Hey, Grandpappy served there under the pirate Lafitte, till he got...
You mean to say your grandfather was hanged? How awful.
Well, it ain't a bad way to go, ma'am. When you're 82. You ever been in New Orleans?
New Orleans. I've been there dozens of times.
Oh, I'd give anything if I could go to New Orleans. My mother used to tell me about it before she died. I can hardly remember now. I was just a little kid, not even 5 years old. I know she used to tell me what a beautiful city it was.
Yes, a very beautiful city. Very old and very gracious. But we'll talk about that at supper.
I got a little place all picked out. Run by a fella from Paris, France. Going to Virginia City a couple of years ago and paying for gold. And he got so discouraged with the kind of food they dish out around here, he just opened up a little cafe. What's the matter, man? Don't you care for French cooking?
I love French cooking. And I love French wine. Here, let me pour you some. To your very good health, monsieur.
What is it?
They call it champagne. It's the only thing I drink.
Tastes pretty feeble to me.
It'll catch up with you. But then at $50 a bottle, it should.
$50? Well, this stuff's expensive.
Everything I have is expensive. My hats, my shoes, my furs, my gowns, everything.
Then money must be very important to you.
The most important thing in the world. That's what enchants me so about Virginia City. I can watch them dig it here, right out of the ground. You don't know how hard I've worked. How many years it's taken to be able to buy the kind of champagne we're drinking now. Joe, why won't your father let them cut down those trees? They'd be willing to pay anything he asked.
The trees? Who wants to know about the trees?
They need those trees. Without those trees, they can't keep their mines going.
And without those trees, we can't keep the land going. You expecting any visitors, ma'am?
I suppose you know what I've done, don't you?
Where is he? Where's my son? May I ask you, Mr. Cartwright, to address whatever questions you may have to my friend, Langford Poole. Mr. Poole, as you well know, boasts 12 notches on his gun. Would you care to try for 13?
Go home, Cartwright. Go home, before I kill you.
You tell me to go home? You, with the smell on you of the charnel house, of flesh rotting and stinking in the sun?
You're gonna die for saying that to me, old man. You're gonna die.
You have any argument, Poole? You don't have it with my father. You have it with me.
One Cartwright is just about the same to me as another.
I'm asking you again. Where's my boy?
I don't know. I don't know where he is.
We looked all over town, Pa. There's no trace of him.
Troy, the Lord saith an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. I want my son, Troy. My son, or your life.
You think that brat of yours is in Virginia City, Ben Cartwright? All right. Find him.
I'll find him. With that actress once I know where she is.
You know that, Troy? You know where she is. Now tell me or I'll rattle your teeth.
At the hotel. The International House.
I'll find him, Pa. Boss, you stay here and help Pa keep them seated right where they are. If I don't come back with little Joe, we'll ask some more questions.
They'll be here when you get back at them. One shape or another, but they'll be here.
Yes, ma'am, you sure got expensive tastes. Like the champagne stuff, hats, gowns, and furs. I guess you didn't have much choice.
But you have. They'll kill you, little Joe. You can get out through the window, please, before it's too late.
Ma'am, I thought we had a supper date together. Gentlemen, may I say that your visit isn't entirely unexpected?
You get out of here!
Crabtree, ma'am, you're a sweetheart.
Good evening, Miss Crabtree.
Adam. Oh, I'm so happy to see you.
Are you? Where's my brother?
He was here. I'm sorry, Adam. I didn't think this was going to happen.
Well, what you thought or think doesn't interest me, Miss Crabtree.
You're hurting my arm.
I'll break it. Where's the kid?
You don't understand.
Understand what? You and Alpheus Troy?
You don't think much of me, do you?
On the contrary. I think you did your job beautifully. It's not everyone that could lure a young fool kid to his death.
That isn't true. I didn't know they wanted to hurt him. They said it would just be a little trick, a sort of a game. Could I go up into the mountains and make one of you follow me back to town?
And for how much money?
Money didn't have anything to do with it. Didn't you just hear me say it was a little game, a sort of a lark?
Oh, I heard you. It doesn't mean I have to believe you.
Oh. Let go of me. Get your hands off me!
Next time, Miss Crabtree, pick on a man, not a boy.
Way later, if I live that. All's in trouble. All is in trouble. He's around here somewhere. We'll go through every shack and tent till we can find him. Where is he? Where are you hiding him? That's a big hell. Well, if he's here, we'll find him. Wait! What are you going to do? Wait!
Oh, man. Thank you for keeping me alive. Of course, one day you may regret it, you know.
Where is he? Did you find him?
No, I didn't find him, Pa. I got his horse outside. Found it at the stable. He's still in town.
We'll
go on looking for him, Alpheus Troy. And if we don't find him,
We'll try that one next. Inside basket. I cover close.
You got anybody hiding in here?
Hide somebody? No, nobody. Me hide nobody.
Oh, what's the use? Let's turn this place inside out.
Why? What is it? Why come down here? Why? Me lie to you. Why? Why? Me say me yani come. What is it? What is it? Chak come away. Why? Me say me yani come. Why did you come down away? Why you come? Walk away. Why? What is it? Me yani come. Walk away.
What about this?
Why did you come to say me yani? Why you walk me take go to my boy? Why? Me lie to you. What did you mean? They hùng có all the chak sang go to lie. Why did you mean? What is it? What is it? Chak come away.
No ticky, no washy.
Đi lai đây được không? Gọi đi chính mê đang đi ôn là sẵn sàng con luyện tay. Wow, đi chính mê đã.
All the same, why makes the place noise? No kids sleep. If he's in there, let's smoke him out.
Tôi nãy mỗi suy gọi cái gì phan kẻ liêm tôi ông bà tại á, cái gì hỏi ra đây á.
That's so little.
You scamp! Is this what you've been doing all night?
All night, Pa? I thought I was just getting started.
It's a great pleasure, Mr. Cartwright.
Out! Out, you little rapscallion, before I skin you alive!